Hello and welcome to New Year, New Voice, day 7 of our adventure here this month. And today, as promised yesterday, we're going to be talking about the position of the tongue in singing and some pitfalls that you might want to look for while you are practicing. So if you haven't watched my content before, you'll know I talk a lot about the tongue, and to me, there's no debate about tongue position. It's not like, if you want to have a debate about it, well, then you're probably at the wrong channel, because it's just basic function. If you think about where you can move furniture in a space, right? There's a limited amount of options in a floor plan about where you can practically move the furniture. And that's the same with the tongue. Like, if we allow the tongue to fall back and down, we are jamming the pharyngeal space, the oral pharyngeal space, and we're also compressing the larynx. So to me, that's just like a practical, if you just look at like basic scientific facts, that's just not a practical and viable option. So we have to find a way to train the tongue to stay out of our throats, right? And not let it press down and back. Now, this being said, some people also have a tendency to pull up on the tongue. But I tend to find this, like, I will just say, if you have trouble with high laryngeal singing, typically it's a little bit more complicated than the tongue is pulling up the larynx. That's a very rare occurrence. I mean, I've taught so many singers, and I will say I've maybe seen 2 cases of that in my entire teaching career. That's a lot of singers. So and what I mean by that is that the tongue pulling too high is the cause of the high larynx. That's a different thing than the singer has high larynx, because I've seen many singers with high larynx, but usually it's not as a result of the tongue pulling too high. Okay, so this is where the theory starts. The theory starts is that we need to find a way to have the tongue relaxed down by the teeth, so the tip stays gently by the teeth, and the back of the tongue can gently raise, okay? But if your tongue is habitually pulling down and back into your throat every time you phonate, I'm gonna tell you right now, this journey is not easy. And if you're just thinking about relaxing your tongue, it's gonna do the wrong thing. So you're gonna need to train it in sort of an aggressive manner to get it to stop pulling down and back into the pharynx. And that's gonna take some time. It's not just like you're not gonna watch this video and figure it out. It's not gonna work, right? It's gonna take exercises and lots of training, and probably several months, okay? And if you've been doing this for years, it may take years. I'm not kidding, okay? But in general, what you wanna look for is that the back of the tongue, where you would say NG, like the word sing, that is gently lifted. So sing, sing. Now notice when I go to the ah, and I'm just speaking right now, my tongue does not pull down. So some people, when they do this, they'll go sing and pull it down. That's what you want to look for. If your tongue is doing that naturally in the spoken realm, you want to first map that and make sure that it is staying up. Sing. And what that might do is it might change the way you conceive of that vowel. The vowel may be brighter, your voice might sound thinner, lighter, higher, brighter, that's fine. But you need to get used to that in the spoken before you can deal with that in the singing. And don't worry, we're gonna be looking at the tongue a lot more in the exercises that will come later on this month. But if you don't have these foundational pieces, you're gonna go, what? What are we doing? So you need to look at this. How is your tongue functioning when you're singing? Check the mirror. If you can't see a little bit of the fleshy part of your tongue when you're singing, if you're singing like that, there's probably something going wrong, okay? The tongue is pulling too far down. Now, the reality is a lot of people have posterior tongue ties, and you may have heard me speak a lot to this. And obviously I can't diagnose somebody, but I can point you in the right direction if you should go visit a myofunctional therapist to get a diagnosis. And that is if everything you do, you have tried everything and you know you're a good singer, you know you have pretty good technique and you just can't get that tongue under control. And you feel like there's some physical limitation that is preventing you from doing the things that you know you need to do. This is very different from like an amateur that thinks that they're capable. No, I'm not talking to those people, okay? Because that may be technique, right? But if you're at the professional level and you still have and you're watching this and you're going, I can't do it. Okay, like 9 times out of 10, there's a restriction because I just don't feel that people who are really already good singers, that they just can't do a basic function, right? There might be something to it. And considering how many people have some kind of posterior tongue tie that they're not aware of. And that's a tie within the body of the tongue that sort of restricts the motion of the tongue. So this kind of NG position is difficult and pulls on the larynx, right? So that's what I'm talking about with a tongue tie. You can Google it, check it out. So that could be a reality. And you may want to look into that if you are watching this video and you're going, I can't do that. Okay, and now if you are a beginning singer or you know, you're not really on the professional track and you're still putting your technique together, don't jump to conclusions yet. Because I see a lot of people, they want quick fixes. They want, oh, that's my problem, I have a tongue tie. I will tell you, like, to me, the tongue tie, that journey should probably happen towards the end of your technical journey, because what happens a lot is people use that as a scapegoat to not do the hard work. And there is a lot of hard work. If you're gonna go down the route of a tongue tie surgery or phoenectomy, you're gonna have to do a lot of exercises beforehand. And if you are getting that surgery done, they're not giving you those exercises, that's not good, okay? So my idea is that you have to train the tongue to do the correct things before the surgery. And then the surgery enhances that. It's not a fix-all, right? So just be careful, because I do find this. I get a lot of people writing me about tongue ties and they think it's gonna be a magic bullet for all of their vocal problems. And it's just not, because the function plays into the restriction and vice versa. So you gotta fix that function either way, okay? With or without the surgery, that function has to be fixed. So, end of the sermon for today. We'll talk a lot more about the tongue as we move forward and do exercises. And tomorrow we're gonna be looking at vowels and laryngeal position. See you tomorrow.